Hi guys, it's Peg, and before we get started today, one of our followers on ArtJoy Sharing had mentioned the Somerset Studio issue. This was actually November, December, January. So I don't even know if this is available on the newsstands anymore, but she had pulled out the article that had Mary Beth Shaw and Shell and I in it. And so I just wanted to mention, if you're looking for that article, it actually is the November, December, January article. And this was the piece that I had designed for that article. So check it out if you're interested in something like this. Shell did a beautiful piece. Mary Beth did some work. So, I mean, that's Somerset Studio. And you may have to go to their website if you're looking for that particular magazine, because I don't think it's on the newsstands anymore. So this is a video in fast mode from ArtJoy Sharing, which is a Facebook group. Chelsea and I do a live show each Thursday, 10:30 Central Standard Time on ArtJoy Sharing Live Ustream channel. And we videotape our portion because we split the screen for that live show, and then we come back and do our own narration on our YouTube channels. So this is my fast version. Now, I had done a butterfly journal, and so had Shell, a week or so ago. We had constructed our journal. And these are some of the pages that we had also created in previous videos. The videos for the pages, I think, was using ink sprays, and then the construction of the journal might have been another one. There's the journal I'm showing, the butterfly journal, and that's with a napkin exterior and a die from Eileen Hull and Sizzix. So you can see I have several pages. I sprayed both sides, front and back, of this watercolor paper, because when I get it all constructed, okay, so that's a page that Shell and I had collaborated on for Earth Day. We're talking about Earth Day and that sort of thing. So kind of, jumps back and forth here because I'm showing different things to the audience, but there's the sprayed backgrounds for those pages, and I'm picking out a few of them to work on today. I can't do them all, And then this is a napkin. You know how we all get these napkins when we go through the drive-thrus or to the restaurants and stuff? And I'm showing how they make a great surface. Like you always get more of these in your packages than you need when they're handing out your food service. And I thought, well, that's some pretty nice tissue. So I think I'm going to stamp on that and, make some background tissue. I'm also stamping up some more tissue paper with butterflies because, when you make a journal, you have these components that you're working with, and I keep a few baskets around with different components in it. And these tissue paper components are great because you don't have to stamp on the page. One of the problems with stamping in a journal is it doesn't always work the way you think it's going to. But if you have it on tissue paper and you're able to cut it out and glue it down, you get a much nicer image. So I'm showing my most favorite stamp. This is a penny black stamp, butterfly. And I'm showing how you can do a watercolor effect or a solid effect using the same stamp. I'm getting some distress inks out now, and I'm going to stamp with those distress inks and get that watercolory effect. Just spritz lightly, stamp it down, and you see that I have a watercolor butterfly now. going to do the same thing on some other paper. Going to use my mat to transfer some of that color. Pick it up with a stamp. And these are pages that are torn from one of those diary journals. I'd picked up some of these on sale, and I love Diane Reevely's paper. However, I don't really use the diary. I paint over the diary pages and turn them into journal pages because I tried keeping a diary. I'm not very good at it. I'm just, when I have time to play, I don't want to keep records and diary and all of that. I want to work in a journal. If I want to write something, I'll write it on a journal page. So I'm going to cut out these butterflies, put them in my stash, and make them components that can be used on journal pages. Now, this is really fast cutting. This is 8 times fast, and I'm speeding this up because nobody wants to see me cut paper. But I'm just showing some of those things that I've created for my stash. Now, before the show had started, I had taken some light molding paste and put some on several pages, and those are off to the side drying. And I decided to grab some of these tools, one of which is the gel plate, and I'm going to use some inks. I've got some of these, those are Marabou acrylics in a spray bottle. The spray isn't working anymore. I've got some, what is that stuff? That's Bombay ink in a China red. It's an India ink, so it's a permanent ink. And we're talking about the dip pins because we had talked about the dip pins in the previous week, and I'm showing them, the people in the audience. And Shell and I had talked a little bit about the pins before the show started. These inks and pens. So that's quite wet. I'm trying to dry it enough to keep working and determine that, yeah, it's not going to get dry enough. So I'm going to move on to another page. So I'm pulling out some more stamps and some more tissue paper, and I'm going to create some more elements now while that page is drying. So I'm just stamping off on that tissue paper. And these are some old woodblock stamps. I don't even know if they're still available. I know some of them aren't. I know that postcard one is probably a PSX and they've been out of business for years, but there's any number of them that are available. This is a current one from Carabella Studio, I believe. And check my Amazon link, because if it's something that I use and something that I have over on Amazon that you can find, I usually put it in my store on Amazon so you can find it there. And here's another page. I love the colors on this, and I used a couple stencils from Stencil Girl Products. And I'm just adding some paint in some warm tones. I've got some quinacridone gold and some butter and, uh, paper artsy and deco art media paints. I love both of those brands, but I want to warm this up a little bit. It's a little on the cool side with the green blue. And okay, so I'm going to tear down those tissue papers because I want to glue them onto the page. Somebody's asking me about the pages and, did I do them in the show? And no, I didn't. They're in another video. I'll try to remember to add an iCard or something at the end for you guys. And I'm going to use some deco page. This is a matte product from Americana Deco Art. I am a Deco Art media representative, not media, Deco Art product representative. So, I demo their stuff quite often. So I'm going to start adding that tissue to a number of different pages. And using the silicone spatula, because that worked really well. It wipes off, gets clean. You don't have to fuss with a brush when you're using glue. This is the third page, and I think I'm going to deepen that with some ink. I have these really vibrant colors from Ranger. I was using a dandelion and a cactus flower, and what was the orange? I think the orange was a really bright one too, which was bright tangelo. I used a couple of different oranges today, and I also used a monarch orange in the process later. But yeah, those brighten up the page just fine. My pages are still wet. That's one of the reasons I work back and forth between pages. Now, here are those watercolor butterflies. And I think I'm going to create a little piece of art to go on to one of the pages with that. I'm going to pull things out of my butterfly stash. I think I like that big butterfly for the middle of the circle one. And then this one I think is going to get some more vintage looking pieces on it. And then I want to go back to that other orange and pink looking piece and do some more circular. I don't know, I'm into circles today, can you tell? So I'm going to use some heavy gel matte medium to put that big butterfly down with, and I'm just adding a little more of that magenta tone, using a brush to blend that out a little bit on the edge, deepen that out. You know, the pages are in process. They're not a finished page. It's just work in process as I work on these. Not sure just how much more work I'll do, but they're journal pages. And, you know, to get 3 journal pages done in an hour and a half show is quite a bit. And they're still wet. And, you know, if you're going to do pen work, you want things to dry overnight. Pretty much, you want things to dry overnight if you're going to put pens on top, because you ruin your pens. I was talking with a friend this morning who had ruined a number of her Posca pens because she'd used them when the page and glue and stuff was still too wet. So I'm getting out, this is a template, another thing that you can find on Amazon, and I'm just using it to make different size circles on my page. And I'm blending out some of that busyness in the background with that paint and ink in that circular fashion. So, didn't get too far on my pages today, but be sure and go over and check out Shell and see what she did. Come and join us on Art Joy of Sharing Facebook group so that you can share your work with us. Use our hashtags. And remember that if you're joining a group on Facebook, to answer the questions, there's just a few questions that need to be answered because we want to make sure that you're not a robot, that you're not, you know, going to be in there messing and adding ads and all of that kind of stuff to our page. So that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this. Say hello to Shell and come and join the group. And I'll see you again next time. Bye for now, and thanks for all the kind comments, the likes, the subscriptions, and stay well, guys. Bye.